I gotta get
of like, okay, there's a lot of years.
They drew it.
Okay, I think the main point here was just I was able to so I may see if Allison can do that for us. Allison, will you be our host for us today? Will you host for us so that you can let people in?
Yeah.
Okay, and I just posted a new link in Facebook.
Do it here?
Yeah, that would be great.
You posted a new link in Facebook?
I did. It's my basic one.
No, but I'm trying to. And you saw her text. But she.
Will you just keep telling her I was update terms. That's right. I just posted one on Facebook a hot second ago. It's at the bottom in the comments.
At times.
I know you can work under pressure. That's why I assigned this project to you.
No, please. No.
Someone needs to get this.
It's a Friday, that's all. Yeah, so there's so many other things, so. We are good. That's a little Debbie dollar. Minda's like, I want my pearls. I thought of you just for you today, actually.
Well,
I know you're gonna be making fun of my pearls.
That is really free.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. We're so excited to have Minda Coe today. I don't know what I would have done this Friday without her, to be quite honest. So Minda, tell me a little bit about yourself and what initially got you into real estate.
So I was a stay-at-home mom for 14 years, out of the professional world. My kids were starting to get a little less needy. And so I was looking for something for myself, something to kind of help contribute to our retirement goals and where we wanted to get. So everyone in my family said I should definitely be in something with sales. So real estate kind of seemed like the most logical thing to do. So I got my license and I ended up going with the very first firm that I took my classes from. So I didn't do a lot of like soul searching with that or a lot of due diligence, kind of just took my classes.
Are you a D? Are you a driver?
I am a
Okay.
driver. I am a driver. So, take my classes, go with the first firm. And again, just like a fish out of water, here I was in my 40s and trying something new and trying to come up with something that was me. So
That's great. I feel like a lot of people can relate to your story
I hope so.
already. Yeah. And I promise that's the only question that's going to be off script.
Okay.
Okay. We won't do any more of this. What are some of the biggest game-changing moments in your career?
yes. So for me, it was my mindset. It was definitely my mindset. So if you guys have been here with Kevin and Tina, they are talking about mindset all the time. When I started with my firm, we did this like 3-week boot camp, right? And we were supposed to go in and get our training, and then we we're going to be ready to go out and sell real estate. And so at the end of that 3 months, they literally they put a piece of paper in front of us and they said, okay, you guys need to write down your goals for your first year in real estate and write down your goals and what do you want to accomplish this year? And I'm thinking, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 14 years. I have no idea how many homes I have to sell. I'm thinking I was just lucky to get a shower. That was my goal for the day. Get dinner on the table. And so, I don't know. So I wrote down 50,000. It seemed like a good number that I could contribute, 50,000. And you guys, I will never forget this. The lady that's running the training, she's like walking around the room, and it was a really like kind of stark atmosphere. And she picks up my paper and she's like, "Oh, those are some lofty goals." And you guys, my heart sank. And I was like, "Really?" Like, I had no idea. I'm already feeling uncomfortable. I have no idea. So I was like, okay, well, that wasn't the right answer. So I got out into the next 6 months. I sold 4 homes in the next 6 months, and something wasn't feeling right? Like something was just off, and I was looking for some opportunity, and I started to kind of search for that opportunity, and it actually came to me. Mackenzie reached out, and she's like, "Hey, I saw that you were in real estate. Our sons went to school together. Why don't we have lunch and chit chat?" So we did, and she invited me to come talk with Tina. So I went to come talk with Tina, and we were in the old office, and I knew nothing about who Tina was, you guys. I didn't know her mindset. I didn't know who she was. And she's sitting on the other side of the desk, and she's like, "Hey, Minda, so tell me, it's your first year in real estate. What are your goals?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to tell her 50,000, right? Because that was the wrong answer the first time. So what am I going to tell her?" And I'm like, I was like, "Well, at our firm, they want all of their new agents to sell $1 million in their first year of real estate." And I said, "I've sold 4 homes. They were all around roughly 200,000. So I'm almost close to reaching my goal, right?" And I could see her face. I was like, "Oh, that was the wrong answer." I was like, "That was the wrong answer." And I'm not really sure what she saw in me that day, but she gave me an opportunity and said, "If you're going to be a part of this team, well, we've got to sell 2 homes a month." And I thought, okay, well, that's my goal then, right? 2 homes a month. So I can do that. So that's how I kind of got started with the goal setting. And we kind of fast forward a little bit. We were already like roughly in May or June of that year. So I only had like 8 months with the team. And that was my goal. I fell a little short of that goal that first year. I think I only did like 12 homes. And she said, "Okay, well, we'll get back on track." In January, it rolled around. And I don't know if you guys have been here in January, but it's like new year, and we are goal setting, and we are vision boards, and it's all over the place, right? So here it was January, and we're back to this goal setting thing again. And I'm like, here we go again. I mean, that is seriously, when I tell you, that was where my mindset was. That was where it was. And I don't even think I filled out the paper we were supposed to fill out, and it got brushed to the side. I knew in my head I had to do my 2 because that was the team goal. And I was just going, you guys, I was just going through the motions. I was just trying to figure out KV core. I'm trying to figure out how to talk to new clients. I'm trying to put it all together. And later that January, I think it was January, early February, Tina got asked to speak at a TED Talk. And so we all went to kind of support her. And I don't know if you guys have been to a TED Talk before, but it's dark in the auditorium. And this was all like women speakers, and they're all standing up there, and they're all just telling their story. And I felt like for the first time, I'm like, oh, they're talking to me. Like, they're talking to me. And something in my mind just kind of shifted. And I heard the last speaker that day was Jamie Valvano. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she is the daughter of Jimmy V, so the basketball coach for NC State. And she got up there, and she was the last speaker, and half of the room had already cleared out. Half the people had already left. And she is telling us about how she had always just looked up to her dad, and he wrote down, I don't know if you guys know his story, but he won the championship game when they were going to be the underdogs, right? There was no way they were supposed to win. Yep, 1983. I think they were supposed to win this game. Yeah, I'm not in basketball, so I don't really follow it. But she talked about, her story and her struggles that she was going through. And she said the one thing that she remembers her dad telling her was to go to the note card. Whatever you are trying to accomplish, you've got to write it down. You have to write it down. And she challenged us. She gave us a note card, and she challenged us. She said, I want you to write down what your goals are. I want you to write down what you want to accomplish. And I want to challenge each and every one of you to do it. And for the first time, I'm looking around, I see some of these note cards on the floor, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to challenge myself. What if this works? What if I can get over my fears? And what if I deserve this? Like maybe I can do this. So you guys, I came home, and I still have the card. It says, my vision for living an extraordinary life. And I think we're supposed to do more detail. As you can see, mine doesn't have hardly any detail. And I want you to notice it's in pencil, because I was so afraid of failing. I thought, maybe if I write it in pencil and I don't meet my goals, I can erase it. Like, that's seriously where my mindset was. So I wrote down my goal for that year, and I stuck it in my planner here. And I would get this paper out all the time, and I would read it over and over and over. And there were some days, you guys, I wanted to rip up this stupid note card. And there were some days that it like lifted me up. And if this was 2020, so we all know where our heads were in 2020, right? We were going through a lot of things. But I wrote it down, and somehow I started to change patterns and habits and things that I was doing. And at the end of 2020, I hit my goal. So I wrote down, and this is kind of personal, but I'm going to share it with you. So it says, congratulations, Minda, you closed 30 deals and you earned $100,000. You rock. These are not great goals. I mean, there's nothing specific on this. There is nothing here, but this was a big goal for me, you guys. And I truly didn't think I deserved to be able to earn $100,000 or to compete with agents that had been in this market for so long. And why me? Why me? So that was the change of everything was that day. So I guess that I'm hoping today, you may hear it over and over, that something I may be your Jamie, something may connect with you. So
I definitely, my light bulb is going on.
Yeah.
And it also looks like these other ones are in pen.
Oh yeah. So I've so
great.
now I've progressed. So she sent me the nicest note, because I did a little video, and she sent me extra cards so I'd have them. And now they're in pen, and now they're very specific. I've come far with my goals.
Can we get some snaps for Minda?
Hey. Yeah.
All right. So now, how do you set goals? Is it through pen and paper?
So definitely now,
Okay.
I'm very specific. So I have them down. I still pull this out. I actually keep this one because it reminds me how far I've come with that. And I'm so much more confident in those goals, and my mindset has definitely shifted, but yeah, I'm much more specific. So
That's great.
yeah.
So you like to set intentions through writing these goals down, and then you feel like that affirmation always works for you.
Mhm.
You always meet your goals when you have this kind of intention. Is that right?
I do.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
awesome. So how do you go about getting in the right mindset apart from setting these affirmations? What else does Minda's life look like?
So something that I had to figure out, and I'm gonna thank Kevin for this, because when you guys are here enough, we will just hear mindset, and what is that? What I realized in doing this was it's a lifestyle change. Just like if you're trying to lose weight, you can of course go on a diet, but if you don't change your mindset and your lifestyle, and you don't make it a part of everything you're doing, you're going to fail. And that is how the mindset I realized worked for me. At first, it just started with a podcast, just a simple podcast. And then it progressed to more of a routine. So I start my morning every day, 7 o'clock, with a podcast. I have some of my favorite ones that I can share.
Shout them out.
Yeah, I will. So I love Ed Milet. Actually, I got his name from Chet Fazio. He said he's one of his favorites. If you ever listen to Ed, he talks to business people, he talks to athletes, he's all over the place. But I will warn you, he's an hour long, so he may be a hard one to kind of start with, because an hour sometimes it's like trying to change your habits overnight. So that one's a little bit harder.
Do you have a baby step suggestion?
Yeah, a baby step suggestion. Good leadway. Would be Sean Croxton. He does quote of the day, and his are 10 minutes, and you guys will pick up amazing nuggets every day from him. So yesterday, it was what you lack in skill, you can make up in numbers. And this was like, the light bulb went off. So if you're a new agent, and he kind of relates a lot of things to sales. So if you're a new agent, he said, it's all a numbers game. So his whole message that day was, maybe Tina only has to go on 2 listing appointments to get 1 listing. Maybe I have to go on 10 to get 1, or maybe someone else has to go on 20. Doesn't mean I can't compete with Tina and Marty and all those. I just have to do more work, right? So that was the whole message for the day. So you can't not listen and grab a little nugget from that. So that's Sean Croxton quote of the day. And then my other one is, he's like about 30 minutes. It's Mindset Mentor with Rob Dial. And he starts every day. He says, make it your mission to make someone else's day better. And I love hearing that every day. Like, it just reminds me, make it your mission to make somebody else's day better. So how can you not be like, when you listen to that, like,
Makes you smile.
It does. And I personally, like, I walk, I do my kind of exercise walk the dog, get in that frame of mind every day. And then whatever kind of comes at you, you feel shielded. You feel like you can kind of conquer.
Like a warrior. So you feel like this is kind of like putting on your warrior paint before you go out into battle. It's,
I'll tell you guys, it's funny. The first few months that I started in the business, I was like, wow, I have some challenging clients, right? Like, not all these issues on my hands. What I realized is, I think it was how I was perceiving it and how I was dealing with it. So when you really change things, not only can things really start to fall into place in your personal life, but it's amazing how you start to handle things differently in your business life. So I've had, I think I have almost 40 under contract, and had any challenges this year. And I really think it's what I'm attracting in my mindset. So
yeah, I definitely have noticed that. And I'm not currently doing any transactions, but when I'm here in the office space, I hear you talking to other agents, and I pick up nuggets, which is so helpful, even just for negotiation. The other day, last Tuesday, you were sharing a strategy when another agent was having a hard time with a client. They had an issue. You had a solution, but that's because you were thinking about the process a little differently. You were thinking, well, what could we do in the situation? Or do we have more time? Do you want to share that story?
So the example that she's giving was a client that somebody else had that was going to have to back out, right? They were going to lose their due diligence. And I think her, first instinct was, I've got this client and we're going to lose due diligence. And again, it's just trying to really put yourself in the right mindset. So my suggestion was, if I had an example like that, where, hey, did you have any earnest money on the line, and how long was your due diligence period? Because if they had 2 or 3 weeks, could you ride out that time and not sign that termination paperwork, so that you could buy time, and maybe we could negotiate getting part of that due diligence back, just because they need that termination paperwork to get the house back on the market, which is ultimately what the seller wanted to do. So just, again, I think when you are in that right mindset, and you're working on that every day, you can really kind of just think more clearly. And this isn't something that happened overnight for me, and it's something I have to do daily. And I've gone from like 10 minutes of these podcasts and getting my head to almost an hour a day. And I've started to add meditation. I've started to add breathing. So I've started to add, so it's almost a little addictive, but it's definitely, it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, it's like when you start getting those endorphins from working out, you just don't want to stop doing it.
Right.
But this is endorphins and also balancing health as well, because sometimes working out too much can be a lot of stress on your body. It sounds like a lot of things that you're doing don't really create any stress. They're more peaceful. Is that right for you?
They're definitely peaceful. I look forward to it every morning. I feel like I'm missing something if I miss it. So I look forward to it. I find that I get a lot from it.
Is there anything that's really small that you do every day that is very attainable for everyone else that's really made a big impact for you?
Something that I heard, I think Kevin, you're such the mindset king. It's something I heard, and then I started to hear the same people talk about it on the podcast. It's great. You'll start to enjoy. Once you might not like my suggestions, you may start to kind of find your own. But is starting your day by not looking at your phone. So I do not look at my phone. I have teenagers, so I do still use it by my bed, which I'd love to go set it in another room, but I do have it for that. But I hit stop. I don't hit snooze. And I read that you should start your day with gratitude. And
I actually did that this morning.
Oh, you did? Okay, so Jay Shetty gave an example. If you have he has a great podcast too. And he writes a book, I think, Live Like a Monk. But Jay Shetty said you should start your day with gratitude, and he keeps like a post-it note and write. Well, I'm a morning person, but I'm not going to sit up and just write right away. So I had to come up with something that worked for me. So my daughter, she's into like those stones, all the stones that have like different meanings. So she gave me a stone and I put it right by my bed. And so I hit the stop button, I grab the stone, and I just say something that I'm grateful for. And that's how I start my day. So.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you say it in your head or do you say it out loud?
I actually say it in my head.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But
it's just a personal question because I know everyone likes to manifest in different ways. I like to write everything down. My process. What are some things that you had to let go of in order to keep this lifestyle and keep this focus?
So I think with any goal, you have to be ready to make sacrifices. And it's so funny because I remember, again, going back to Tina, I'm not sure why she had the confidence in me, but I remember her saying most of the agents, if you want to reach some of these goals, most of the agents work 40 to 60 hours a week. And you are going to have to make some sacrifices. And I remember her always talking about, she doesn't watch TV. She doesn't watch Netflix. I don't think I can do that. You guys, my TV rarely comes on anymore. I can't get enough books. I've got a stack of books on my nightstand. I'm ready at 9:00 to get to my book. So I've given that up, but I honestly don't look at it as a sacrifice because now I think I've just shifted in what my goals are.
Your mindset. It's kind of like if you eat a really big salad or lots of vegetables and good quality food, you're feeding yourself with the nutrition that you need to be the best version of yourself. It's the same with what you're putting in your mind, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're watching a lot of TV instead of reading books where you're learning a lot, not that you can't learn from TV, you can watch documentaries and things like that. I don't mean to, put too much.
No, and I still I'm not going to say we all have to have a little downtime, right, or something, but it just isn't a part of my everyday routine.
That's great.
Yeah.
So where do you go for motivation? Is it in books or
motivation? So, well, I think it's funny because if I'm getting down or I need to pick me up, I have some favorites and things that I definitely rely on the podcast. And I have one that I don't know where we're at on time that we can share.
We have plenty of time.
Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do that at the end. But again, these podcasts are not just all a mindset. There are so many that are geared towards personal or financial goals or, even raising your children so I think when you start to hear these, and how it relates to real estate is you're going to pick up some of these and it's amazing. you'll go into action. So you're not even noticing that you're doing it, but when you're really focused on hitting that, all of a sudden you spend your time and your energy doing something that's taking you to accomplish your goals. So I find myself when I'm doing something like, is this going to help me get closer to my goal? And I ask myself that, is this going to help me get closer to my goal? So if I'm just scrolling and getting caught into social media or anything like that, I'm going to ask myself, is this getting me closer to my goal? So I constantly kind of ask myself that to
Checking
kind
in
of
with
motivate
yourself.
myself to get closer to
That's
that.
super smart, checking in with yourself to see if what you're doing is actually going to make you happy.
Right.
Yeah. What's this short-term happiness going to get me in my long-term happiness? That's awesome. That's great. Something else we talked about offline before was earthing. I thought that was really great because I love tree bathing, but I hadn't really been putting my feet in the earth that much, except for when I'm at the beach or something like that. So do you want to talk about that and how it makes you feel and how you feel like it's part of your process?
So as I've kind of like gone through this journey and figuring it out and what that morning is going to look like that morning hour is so sacred to me. And like I said, it just started with the little podcast. I've started to learn through the podcast other things that people are doing to also, get their mindset. I think the interesting thing is when you hear these people speak, they sound so positive, but they have to work. They work the hardest at keeping their mind at that. That doesn't usually come naturally for them. They are working to get. And so something that I learned from, I think he's called like the superhuman, but he talks about things that you can do to really get your body where it needs to be. And one of the things was earthing. And the whole idea is that we have like magnetism and electrons, and you guys, I'm probably going to get this all wrong, but we have things in our body. And because we're in these closed spaces of concrete walls and we have shoes on, that we really just don't connect with the earth. And so his whole suggestion was go and take your shoes off and put your feet in the dirt. If you can find sand, it's great, but just take some time and put your feet in the dirt. And so now when I'm doing kind of my breathing in the morning, I go to my spot and I walk around and put my feet, which if you guys know me, I'm kind of a germaphobe. So it's like, I don't know where I'm going to put my feet, but I was putting my feet in the dirt, and it's amazing. It's like, I just felt great. I felt connected. And he did give a little tidbit, and I want to go back and really find out how to do this. But he said, if you're ever traveling and you're traveling across time zones, you know how you guys get that lag, when you're switching time zone? He said, it's been proven if you go stick your feet in the sand, if you can't find sand, dirt. I think he said it's either 6 to 9 minutes that you can do that. You can reset your whole clock for that. So that is, but if you think about it, we go from the airport, we go straight to the hotel, never take that time to like really reset. So it really made sense. So for me, I'm like, next time that I have that, I'm gonna try that, like see if it resets my clock. So it's just something I think on this, when you're trying to find different ways. And again, this might be overwhelming right at first, but you got to start small, and then you'll find things that make you feel really good and things that make you be in that clearer mindset. Something else that makes me feel really good is, and I know just when we were listening to Tony Robbins, he said this too. He's like, do some fasting for a while. And I know Mackenzie's like, I'm not fasting, but your body you feel so much lighter. You feel really good. I mean, think about how you feel after you eat a burger and fries and a Coke. Like you just feel so heavy, and yeah, you do, right? Yeah, you do. So like I like to start my day. I don't really start my day I don't eat in the morning, and I have this green juice that I know Ashley makes fun of me, but I have this green juice, and you just feel so much better. So I know that we got a little off subject, but yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah. That's when we really find the things we should be talking about. I also practice fasting. So I've gone about 3 days is my max.
I don't do that, you guys. Talk to Jenna about that.
Yeah, come to me with that. But you guys, I lost 100 pounds when I was 17, so I just have more fat storage than most of you. So don't be hard on yourselves. Do you guys have any questions for Minda while we have her in front of us? This is a great opportunity. Yes,
Can you
Alex.
kind of go through how your a normal day, like
A day in the
start
life.
as soon as you, I mean, it sounds kind of talked about your morning, but how do you structure your day? Usually?
So I like to be done 7 to 8 with that. Then I get my shower and I'm ready to go by 9 o'clock. I try. Kevin, don't listen. I really try. This is where I think when you ask for where my business, it has been 100% my mind with this. I truly did a shift and I believe where I'm going to get with my goals. I know I have no worry about how I'm going to get there. I used to worry about that. I really just focus on where I'm going. So my morning does look like 7 to 8 with that mindset. Then 9 to 11, that is my time to really focus into my KV core and to get that down. I do my follow-up with my clients during that time. I'm checking my KV core and what that looks like. And then I do try to put my afternoons for just my appointments. It doesn't go like that. I'm probably not the person to ask when it talks about time block because I need to do a better job of that. But I think where mine comes from is if I know I have a goal or something I need to accomplish, whether it's a goal for my year or my goal for my day, I'm going to make sure that it gets accomplished. So I don't necessarily say it's got to be accomplished between 9 and 11. I just know that that is on my to-do list and it needs to get done. I have a notebook going constantly of what I want to do that day. And I think again, like there are going to be times that things come up, and if you really are going to get it accomplished, you're not going to use that as an excuse. So like yesterday is a good example. I had a plan of exactly what I wanted to get done and what my day was going to look like. And I had a child that got sick. And so it then took some time for me to, come back home or whatever that I needed to do. But I don't go, well, I'm going to use that as an excuse. Now I just need to shift everything and make sure it still gets done. It's still on my to-do list to get accomplished for that. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Do you have a hard stop in your day when you try not to work anymore? When you try to just reset?
I don't, because what I have found is that I get a lot done from the evening time. That used to be time that now I look at so wasted. Like I was just watching these shows where now I'm grabbing my laptop. I'm looking for houses. Like last night, one came up and I recognized the address. I'm like, wait, I just got a Zillow call about this. And the Zillow lead said she only wanted this street. And when I looked, nothing that came up. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, texted her. She's like, I'd love to see the house tomorrow. I had no idea. I'm like, I had no idea that one came up either. But so I honestly think I get a lot of follow-up from clients in the evenings. I do a lot of texting from 7 to 9 when I'm just sitting there at my computer and following up. So I actually get a lot of responses in that night time frame. So if you have little ones, maybe that doesn't quite work in your schedule. But for me, I just found it is extra time in my day to do some follow-up. So no, I don't really have a stop.
Yeah, that's great. I get more done at night too. I'm just trying to make sure I stop looking at like a screen at a certain point. Otherwise I don't sleep well. But for me, it's like 11 and then I'm okay.
Well, and that's a good question. So I do have a book going constantly. I think sometimes it can get overwhelming with, where do I even start? But one of the suggestions was read 10 pages a day. And I love that. Like find 10 pages before you go to bed and think of how many books you guys can get through if you do 10 pages.
Right.
Yeah. What?
You can sleep better when
You do.
read.
Yeah.
I realized that if I watch TV or be on my computer or my phone, it's like it takes me longer to fall asleep, and then I keep looking my bed, you know, like. But when I have the time to, okay, I'm gonna read a book, I sleep like a baby. It's amazing.
That's
So I'm switching to getting back to the routine to read every day and less, watch less TV.
and it makes you, you're right, it makes you feel
yeah.
better. And I don't get on that phone. When it's done, and I'm done, and I get into the book. But and some books are better than others. But there's some great books out there, you guys. There's tons of information. And at first it just starts with the podcast. Somebody will suggest a book. One book that I just read was it's a really easy read, and it's great. It's called Whatever It Takes. And again, he talks about what he does in his day and really structures his day, whatever it takes to reach his goal. So that's a great, easy read if you guys want a good one to start out with. Yeah.
With all your podcasts,
Mhm.
about your motivational thing, is there a theme or something that's always coming back, that always comes back to, no matter the author, no matter the speaker, no matter the book? It's the motivational stuff. I'm thinking more business now,
Okay.
right? To try
Mhm.
just to talk about the business. But what is I know when I'm reading, it's like, there it is again. Yep. There it is again. Yeah.
Yes.
There it is again. Like, it could be completely different subjects, but that same sentence, theme, idea, word just is like slapping me in the face. So I don't know if you felt that.
I don't know if there's a word. That's a great.
Or just
yeah.
slapping you in the face.
Or just a phrase, something that I just can, different authors, different videos, different
Mhm.
mediums. And I'm like, I got it, universe. I got it. I'll do it. Got
Yes,
it.
yes. Yes.
So-
I think for sure the common theme through this is habits, your habits and how you structure your day, but your habits, your daily habits are going to get you closer to your goal. So if you guys are listening or reading, you will find out, like they will say, use your time to get you closer to your goals. So that may be, if you've got 2 hours on a plane, are you going to use that time to like flip open your Netflix? Or are you going to use that time to, work or get a book read or whatever it is? But if you listen to most people, they all have a story. They all have a story, and it did not happen overnight. For them, they had to really work hard at what they were doing to achieve those goals. But these are not people that are sitting on the couch eating potato chips and watching Netflix. They really have the habits. So that's what I think, whether it's in your business. I mean, if you start with those habits, like I said, Jay Shetty, there's so many people that say, hey, I don't reach my phone first thing in the morning. I would have never thought of that, right? So again, I think just forming those habits.
You shared something with me that I thought was really great. You said that you used to really focus on your pipeline and what was coming next, and that recently that could have been where you went, but instead you did something else in order to kind of like motivate or initiate a change or just gratitude in general. Do you want to talk about that too? Because I thought that was a great story.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is with this, I was sharing with Jenna when she was asking me, is that every day is not on top of the world, right? You have to work at it. You're going to have highs and lows in your personal life. You're going to have highs and lows in your business. So if you are in that, frame of mind, that sense of gratitude, it's amazing what doors will open. So last month I had a great month. I had 9 deals closed, and you thought I would have been on top of the world, right? But instead I had like a couple days, and I'm like, wow, I don't have as much going for next month. And I'm starting to like let the little monkey, start to talk to me like, oh, did you take too much time, or what were you doing, and how are you going to get it back on track? So I paused for a moment, and I was like, don't go there. Don't focus on what I don't have. Need to focus on what I do have. And I had 9 amazing deals, and I had 9 clients that I helped, and I had 9 agents that were amazing agents on the other side. So I literally in that moment went to my office, and I grabbed 9 note cards, and I wrote 9 thank you cards to those agents and said, thank you. thanks for being an amazing agent on the other side of the deal. And I got the best responses from those people. And then one of them actually called because he had another house that was coming up from another client. So it's funny how things like will start to, doors will open. But yeah, so really trying to, again, I could easily just been like, oh, I don't have as many deals this month, and what am I going to do? But if you really are working on it and you come from a place of gratitude, like doors will open.
That's true. Because the more that you thanks, the more that you receive. That's
Yep. And that's why I love that. Make it your mission to make somebody else's day better. Like if we could all do that, like just think, right? Yep. So I don't know if we have time, but
I have many
okay.
comments. I have many
Oh, you
comments.
do? Okay.
I don't,
Okay.
First of all, to watch Minda, if you didn't know her when she first came to our team, it is a whole nother person. I mean, a whole nother person. And even our conversations change. Right now, I'm when I walk into her office, we're not talking about, hey, how's prospecting going? It's, oh, you're earthing now? That's so cool. I'm microdosing this. I'm doing that, right?
Right.
So we're having these cool conversations. But you nailed a couple of things. I think the 7 to 8 o'clock, your morning is more important than, I don't care how much prospecting you do. I think that is a more important hour than anything you do your whole life, quite honestly. And so that is super important. If you don't have a morning routine for mindset, and there's a book called Miracle Morning, if you really need, kind of a guideline of how you can do that, I highly suggest Miracle Morning, and not the one for real estate agents. Just get the Miracle Morning book, right? And it'll plan out that hour for you if you have anything there. And then you nailed it when you said you don't worry about the how anymore. That is where everybody gets all screwed up when they set their goals, right? Minda, it's 100 grand was the goal. She didn't worry about the how. She just, right at that moment, there was blind faith that the 100 grand would come. And because of the stuff that you're doing from 7 to 8 in the morning, you've opened up new pathways, believe it or not, new neural pathways in your brain that open up opportunities like the Zillow lead, right? You see that house. You won't see that if you're not doing that work in the morning. That popped up for you because it needed to pop up for you. And you are sharp enough because of the things you do in the morning to recognize, oh, this house is for this person, and I'm going to put that together. So the how is huge. I could be in tears talking about Minda. She has come that far, and it's been awesome to watch. So.
And it's from being in this environment, you guys. It's from surround yourself around people that pick you up. The biggest thing that's been a little bit heartbreaking through this is that when your eyes are open, you see that there are people that are pulling you down. And my circle has gotten smaller, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. Those are the people that you don't want to be around. Be around the people that want to see you succeed. Be around the people that want to lift you up. And if you guys can do that, this is the place. I get my energy. I get so many things from being around this. Like I said, whether it's a nugget on a mastermind from somebody else or a nugget from this, like, he will pick you up. So I was going to share the one question to get back to is, like, when you're feeling like you just need a pump up and you need something to like start your day, I have a quick little, I think it's like 5 minutes. So if you ever need, this is off of the quote of the day. I'm going to let you guys listen to this.
John Bias says that the antidote for despair is action. Lisa Nichols says the prescription for success, is the same thing, action. So, number one, I was willing to do that thing that no one else wanted to do. I was willing. Are you willing every day, no matter how smart you are, how brilliant you are you willing to get up, know everything about some things and nothing about anything else? See, I was willing to live in what I call duality. You might want to write that down. I was willing to live in a constant duality. I was willing to be brilliant and in the same 60 seconds, be clueless. When you can live like, walk like, play like, and work like, you have nothing to hide, nothing to protect, nothing to prove, and nothing to defend. You're proving nothing to no one, you're just being. And in every moment, you allow yourself to become the next best version of yourself. So I was willing to unhook myself from anyone else's perception of Lisa. I was willing to rediscover and redefine and rebirth who I could become every single day. I was willing to live in a space that was mildly to moderately to significantly uncomfortable. My grandmother says, baby, conviction and convenience don't live on the same block. They don't even live in the same zip code. Are you willing, write this down, be willing to be inconvenienced? See, for you, you want that dream, but you want to live inside of a convenience.
He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you're trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful.
Superpowers, what are they? They are the things that make you and you and you and you, you. How do you know what they are? Okay, just close your eyes for a moment and think about something you love to do. You just love it. Like time stops when you do it. It can be gardening, it can be shopping, you can play with your kids, whatever. So for me, it's playing with my little nephews. They're 5 and 1, adorable. Now I want you to think about not what exactly you're doing, but the qualities that come out of you so naturally while you're doing that thing. So for me, it's love, it's compassion, it's nurturing, it's creativity, it's wisdom, it's presence. That's who you are. You open your eyes. Those qualities that come so naturally to you are who you are. You know, I've coached people for over 11 years, and I'm always amazed at how people don't realize what their gifts are because they come so naturally. So many of you right now are taking your gifts for granted. You don't think they're gifts because they come so naturally. I like to say God puts our gifts so close to us so they're easy to find, but it's the last place we look.
Every single day, in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things.
Many people will leave the universe without a trace. No one will know they were here. In fact, under their name, we could put under there, not used up. Will anybody know that you came this way? What contribution are you giving? What will you leave? What will be different because you came this way? Someone once said that life is our gift to us, that God has given us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. What kind of gift are you formulating? Is this a gift that you like to take back and do something else before you turn it in? Think about that. He said, Inky, I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't want you to ever forget it. He said, as long as you make sure that somebody else's life is okay, son, God will always make sure that your life is okay. And what he was telling me was, son, as long as you live your life with a greater purpose than just yourself, the opposition, adversity, the challenges, the paralyzed right arm and hand, like all of those challenges that you will face in your life, if you live life with a greater purpose than just yourself, you will use it as fuel and it won't drain you because your focus and your perspective will be a lot different. You won't be a selfish person. You won't just be going through life doing things for personal gain. You know how you can spot a selfish person that give up at the first sign of adversity. Because when a person gives up at the first sign of pressure and adversity and a challenge, you can't be thinking about anything except yourself. Because when you think about sacrifices that others have made for you, it's almost impossible to give up.
Baby, she said, I don't know if you know, but you were built from the best. She said, so I need to remind you that quitters never win and winners never quit. She said, your grandparents, see, they had a hard life. And they many times wanted to stop, but they didn't because quitters never win and winners never quit. She said, your grandparents, baby, they didn't have laptops and cell phones. They didn't have cars. They worked sometimes in the fields until the fingers burst and with blisters and the feet burst with blisters, and they wanted to stop, but they didn't because quitters never win and winners never quit. She said, so honey, I don't know if you thought you had the option of quitting. She said, but grandma needs to tell you, you need to take that option off the table. Because that's not who you are. That's not what you're built of.
So how can you not start your day with that? So that's what I go to. That's my go-to.
All right, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Think about
So y'all come back now.
I hope you got something.
Kick the shoes off, let's go walk at the church.